Is it fine?
It looks okay to me.
Okay.
We are actually live already.
Oh, okay.
So just chill, so that we can start. Right. We've just got a few seconds to start at 7 p.m. straight.
Okay. Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen who have joined us at this Dr. Fundi channel. My name is Fundi Lenyati. I'm the host on this channel. Most of you, or all of you, know that during the month of August in South Africa, it's dedicated to, celebrating women who have done great things, or women who've got big dreams and they are single-mindedly pursuing those dreams. Most of the guests that I've had since the beginning of the month are people who are already established in their chosen careers, whether as entrepreneurs, as academics, or as business people, corporate leaders. But I'm changing the tune a little bit this time. Today, we actually have a special guest. Her name is Dr. Onezwa Mgwetyana. Now, I was taught that you must never talk about age and women, but in her bio, she actually put her date of birth. All I can say is that she was born on the 15th of June, but I won't say the date because it will expose how old I am, because I was already practicing as a medical doctor when she was born. So Dr. Onezwa Mgwetyana comes from Mzimkulu. So today I've had a double header of people who hail from Mzimkulu. The previous interview was with the Deputy Public Protector who comes from Mzimkulu. And now I've got another guest who's a medical doctor, Onezwa Mgwetyana, from Kwagaloti location in Mzimkulu. She is here, because about 2 days ago, like all young people, they use social media quite a lot. So about 2 days ago, she wrote a letter to herself that she posted on her Facebook page. And this letter was so interesting that, some people who are her friends shared it around, and I came across this letter to self. And reading it, it touched me. It touched me because Dr. Mgwetyana has had a 10-year journey or 10-year plus journey pursuing a journey to become a medical doctor. 10 full years pursuing a dream to become a medical doctor. And she has just achieved that dream. She had to take a detour and go via a BSc degree, like it used to be done, during our days. You would be forced to do a BSc because they didn't believe you were ready to move from high school to actually getting into varsity and do medicine. You would be forced to do BSc before. So she did that at Walter Sisulu University, where she obtained, she obtained her BSc there in biological sciences. And then from there, she then went to do her medicine as part of the Cuba, South Africa, or Nelson Mandela, Fidel Castro, medical training program. So she spent another 5-6 years that side, and she has just managed to become a doctor. So I'm not celebrating her as a doctor because she has just started becoming a doctor. But what I'm celebrating is the fact that she did not lose hope. She decided, well, whilst they are saying my results are not good enough to get to WITS or WSU or Natal or wherever, I'll still pursue my dream. If it means let me add another 3 years detour to what I want to do, that's what I'm going to do. And she did her BSc in biological sciences. And then she then got to do medicine, not here in South Africa, but she went to do her medicine in Cuba. She had to spend a year in Cuba learning to speak Spanish because their training there is actually done in Spanish. So, Dr. Onezwa Mgwetyana, you must unmute yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Welcome to the Dr. Fundi channel.
Thank you, Dr. Fundi. Thank you.
All right. You know what, Ne? What I want you to do, please go to that post that you put up. Can you access it now? Or it's going to be difficult, or you want me to read it because I think I want people to hear what you wrote in that post, which actually made me to feel I need to invite you to share, your story here.
Oh, I can read it on my mom's phone.
Yeah, please just switch off the video, get it from your mom's phone. I want you to read it yourself. I think it will be more authentic when you read it yourself.
Okay, let me do that.
All right. The video. All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just give her a few seconds to actually get, because it really touched me. She wrote a story about her pursuit of the dream to become a doctor, but she has just now, moved the goalposts. She now has a dream to become a surgeon, which means another 4 to 5 years minimum of training over the 10 years that she's already spent, in her journey to become a medical doctor. So for me, we can't just celebrate people who are already established. We must also celebrate those who are very clear about where they are going and are doing things that are constructive in pursuit of their dreams, and celebrate the milestones that they achieve as they actually, go, to conquer those, dreams of theirs. And she has achieved her first milestone. She has just, qualified as a doctor after 10 years of, studies, not only in South Africa, but beyond South Africa as well. So I'm going to ask her right now, Dr. Onezwa, please read to us your letter to yourself that you posted 2 days ago. Open letter to myself and anyone who relates. Please take us through.
Okay, it reads thus.
Lift up your voice. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It reads, open letter to myself and to anyone who relates. Today I look back and I can't say enough how proud I am of you, self. You've done it yet once again, and this time no matter how small the achievement is, but I will celebrate you. Let me take you back to a journey that began close to a decade ago. Yep, almost 10 years. A young girl who passed the matric with good marks was counted amongst those with distinctions. Those schools of higher learning deemed that as not enough to get me to medical school. Shame, how unfortunate for them. I had a dream of becoming a doctor that was slowly killed by rejection. I ended up in a BSc degree class with no hope, with the hope that the following year I would get into medicine. But shame, it didn't happen until I had to finish my degree. I remember sitting in my room with my friends. We were still in third year, and we're busy pitting ourselves on how much we hated BSc. Where's Wusu? Well, that was merely because of strikes. I then said to them, I honestly don't deserve this in my life. I deserve to be somewhere abroad studying my dream career, not Lendo. We actually laughed about it because honestly, it seemed so far fetched. Peshe pina, I asked myself. I posted the same status on my WhatsApp, on my Facebook wall, and yes, I did receive the kind of the same reaction. But I do not blame anyone. I did doubt it myself, though deep down I knew I had a dream bigger than what I was going through then. Fast forward, less than a year later, I was on a plane jetting off to Cuba to study medicine. And B, this then shows God knows the desires of our hearts and actually attends to them. In my prayers, I was never specific on where I want to go and study. I simply said, medicine peshe. And God saw it fit that I go to such a country, and I'll forever be grateful for such wilderness. I use inverted commas. Um, Wilderness, because not only a doctor was being made, but also a woman of noble character. My journey started when I had only 21. Kind of said that's how I viewed it back then. That from my own timetable that I had set for myself, I only had 4 years left before I have it all together. You know the drill of I want to be married by 25, I want to have a first car by 23, all of that. Yep, those are the dreams that I had. But then it turned out God had a different plan. And B, this shows we plan, but God decides. Well, here's the true story. I didn't complete my degree at 23 as I'd planned when I was still in high school. What am I even talking about? I didn't even get my dream career straight away. I don't even want to count the dreams I had of getting married or my first car. None of it happened. A young me then thought, man, no, God doesn't love me. But there was always that wiser version of me within me that said, and always remembered that God knows best, and just at the right time, every desire shall come to pass. And we again learn to trust God's timing. Now, when asked what advice I would give to younger self, or rather to other young girls, would be number one, I would say they should dream. It all begins with a dream, no matter how far fetched it may seem. But nothing in this life is impossible. Tembu Tiko was a Tembinabi. Two, life is not a race. Do not compete or compare your life with anyone's. It's your race, your lane, your pace, and just at your own time. Three, it is very important to trust God's timing. Four, it was to be kind to yourself. And always, not sometimes, but always be kind to yourself. Five, last but not least, was do not, and I mean never, allow your background to determine your future. Let it solemnly be the reminder of how hard you should work. Years later, I'm actually watching my life unfold in front of me and couldn't be more grateful that it happened now. So what may seem late, but it's actually the most perfect time. So again, I say to me, dear self, I'm so proud of you. You did it, baby girl. You did it. I'm now a qualified doctor, Dr. Onezwa Mgwetyana, your future surgeon. After 1,000 no's
Can
and
you
roads
repeat
in
that
between.
part? Can you repeat that part? Yeah. I
Oh,
am
yeah. I am a qualified doctor, Dr. Onezwa Mgwetyana. Yes, your future surgeon.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Then the last part was after 1,000 no's and doors slammed at my face, I'm coming for it all. Now, cheers to the season of yeses, a life of congratulations. Help me toast to my mention that is still just a dream, to my Meg GLE coupe, to taking up the room and occupying space, and to getting more titles. That is more graduation, to specializing, to getting married, to getting kids. Anything that says more titles, I'm getting for it. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you put your picture there with, you were in theater wearing scrubs. That was before COVID.
Yeah.
And basically, you were saying, I'm not yet a surgeon, but I certainly am starting to live as a surgeon. I see myself as a surgeon. And that's what I'm instilling in my mind. I've now achieved my dream as a doctor. And I am actually, extending that dream. I'm setting new target of being a surgeon. Do you know what surgeon you want to be, or just a general surgeon, or cardiothoracic, or vascular, or what? Do you have any, which means more years of studying?
Cardio and cosmetic. Cosmetic is actually, I'm saying cosmetic surgery is actually one way developing a dream. I'm
Yeah.
considering.
So you want to make people look beautiful, reconstructive or plastic surgery. That's what you want.
Is that one.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Doc. I wanted you to be the one who reads that letter, because then you are able to really show what was going through inside of you as you were writing it. It really touched me. But let's go back. Who is Onezwa? Ungubani? Like, really? Who are you? What, where do you come from? Yes, we said something. Just tell me a little bit about, yourself, the family you come from, the village of Buyaguyo, you know. And you mentioned something about your circumstances or background don't determine, how far you go in life. So I just want you to just give us that context quickly.
Um, like I've said, I'm Onezwa Mgwetyana,
Mm.
born and bred Mzimkhulu, originally from Ilalia Wakhaloti, which is a very small, but it's very deep, deep, deep rural.
Mm.
Mzimkhulu.
Ziyafika imoto khona?
But now yes.
Okay.
um, yes, I'm the firstborn of three,
Mm.
born to Nomathamsanqa Mgwetyana, my mom, and my late dad, Ulungile Mgwetyana.
Yes.
Unfortunately left us 2007 in a car accident.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I'm the first one of three. So basically, after then, my mom had to take over and be both mom and a dad to all three of us.
Yes.
So yeah, and while back then she was um, working, she started off as a cleaner and went up. She's now working in correctional services.
Yeah.
And all of that happened when things we thought in my family were looking up for us. My dad had gotten a new job, getting a new job. Then the unfortunate circumstances happened. So, but I always salute my mom for saying, I'll soldier on and raise all three of you.
Yes.
So yeah, basically that's me. Um, yeah.
So as the firstborn, firstborns tend to actually be deputy parents to the ones who come after them. Do you behave like a deputy parent to your siblings, to your younger siblings?
Yes, I am. I mean, the circumstances force you to be.
Yeah.
Um, it's not because you want to sometimes, but the circumstances actually force you to be, you know. Um,
Yes.
for me, I was in grade 11 when my dad passed away, and we were staying with my dad. Being Fundi hiding at that time, the whole.
Yeah.
I have a sister who had just turned 5 years.
Mm.
So when all of that happened, I remember my mom fell into deep depression.
Yeah.
She was recently admitted. So it
Yeah.
forces you to be. I was actually forced to be a parent to my little sister. So
Yes.
with the help of family, but then that also mentally it says grow up, be matured, try
Yes.
make wise decisions.
Yeah. All right. And so, what would you say before we move, into education now? What would you say were the main things that you learned from Umama and the community around Wena? Like things that are still like your values, osazibambileyo nangoku. Even when you were in Cuba, these would be your compasses, or would be your compass in terms of right and wrong and all of that.
Um, I'll forever be grateful for Infundiso Zama mom, which was one person who's been there. My aunt, who I call Umam Tobeka,
Yeah.
and my grandmother. So I, I think she's just that one person who's taught me the way to behave as a girl,
Yeah.
and to actually who has kept me grounded even in your absence. She
Yeah.
was just that one person or straight isn't a sizenza one not two.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
and if you don't know what she says, pumuhambe kwakhe,
Yeah.
um, and then being raised by such phenomenal women, it then grooms you to say, even if I do not get to be that great, but can I please be just half a woman that they are?
Yeah.
And that has helped me ngendlela okuyiphatha throughout high school years, in varsity, and when I was thousands of miles away ekai.
Yeah.
Because you be thinking of my mom wouldn't be proud if he was to see me doing one or two and four. You
Yeah.
know, even sometimes think ngisho bengezwa,
Mm.
they would honestly lose their minds. So that way grounds you. It says phila ngendlela kanje ngaso sonke isikhathi. And
Yeah.
also my family introduced me to Christ when I was so very young. And that also does play a part in the way that you groom yourself, the way that you carry yourself as a girl, or person in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've always wanted to be like them, to like my mom to say, even when you don't have nothing, but you have the power in you to turn that into gold because
Yes.
she's done 1,000 times,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. All right. So, Doc, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And so you went to Mzimkulu JSS. Eh?
Yes, yeah.
Kwakunjani? How was Mzimkulu JSS? Maybe sosihlanganisa nesihole combined.
Well, my primary school was actually fun.
Yeah.
I don't lie. That's where it was actually close to home, and everybody almost knew my grandmom. So there was no way wawu-actor ngendlela iseceleni because they know uzokulanda nakanjani.
Mm.
Um, but one of my memorable years is Esehole, and I'm so glad that my parents actually. It was not a fancy school. It's not, but I'm actually glad my parents afforded me the opportunity to actually go there.
Mm.
You know,
What kind of school is it? Is it Model C or what?
no shame, yes.
Yeah.
Eh,
Okay.
eh.
Semtawezulu. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's a good school. I went there because they used to. It's a Roman Catholic school.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I initially my mom took me there because it was very strict.
Yeah.
Siyakunde, yeah,
Yeah.
no offense, was nothing. And they used to get 100% every year. So that's
Oh,
primary.
so they were not preparing slay queens at that
Not
school.
not at all with academics, and that's it.
Okay, lovely, lovely, lovely. All right. So, what are there any highlights from your time in those two schools, especially at Sehol?
Yeah, there is. I actually, when I was writing this, I then said to myself, it, as much as I'm very proud of myself, I'm grateful for my teachers as well.
Yeah,
Um, Especially as a whole. I remember when I was in matric and even in grade 11, my
yeah,
class teacher, Sister Hlajwayo, always sister, she would call us every time, even no matter how much you've achieved. And actually go to Pasil. And at that time you're celebrating in Pasil, and
mm,
she'll tell you, I know your capabilities. I know you could have done more. This was
yeah,
not it.
yeah,
And you'll get a beating. Yeah,
yeah.
well, the government said it's ingane ishawe esikoleni, and then they will tell you sizoyishatha ingane le ekhaya because
How?
we grew, you know. And right now you then look back and say thank you for pushing me. Because kuthina at that time you think, oh, ngiba matric and that's it, after matric impilo iyaqala, so nje
Mm,
yabo.
mm,
But then they will actually remind you there's life after matric,
mm,
and it starts here. You need to prepare yourself. You need to be prepared. Ngama academics, you need to be prepared ngendlela that you behave,
mm,
and instill that to say, ngisho noma kuthiwa awuphuma ekhaya nomthetho, but here sizokufaka and uzoba safe.
mm.
So you go your kuba ukuthi unenkani, you go beyond that.
Yeah,
And so it's those people who would always remind me, would say, girl, you do not belong here.
yeah,
There's no
mm,
for it. Start, you can do it. And they'll actually motivate you to do it every day.
yeah,
So I'll forever be grateful for that. I'll be forever be grateful for the Christian side of it. I'll forever be grateful for the beatings as well.
yeah.
Because I mean, yeah.
So the whole thing about spare the rod and all of that, as a Bible, nje, when you are actually saying it's good that you guys beat me up. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, so you got good results, but not excellent results according to your letter to self.
Yeah.
Why did you not get excellent results in a school that normally gets 100%? What happened? What was there any distraction?
No, no, not really. I think they're good, but it's just that how the competition is tough out there.
Mm,
I think maybe there were people who had way better the results than me, or simple. It was just it wasn't my time.
yeah,
Um, I'm a very strong believer in Christ, and I believe uNkulunkulu sets things
yeah,
just at the people.
yeah.
Sometimes the Bible says it doesn't call the qualified, but it
Mm,
qualifies the called.
mm,
Now, sometimes you can be qualified to be in a certain place,
yeah,
but if you're not, if God doesn't want you to be there at that time, then you're
mm,
not there.
yeah. No, no, no,
So
that's yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, maybe as much as they were good, but it was just not time as yet.
You
So
had to take the longer journey to medicine, basically. God
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
it that way because they were. What would you say the detour via the 3 years unit, okay, WSU? What do you think you learned out of that experience, besides patience and focus on your ultimate prize?
I think in Litra for me was very hectic.
In what
Um,
sense?
Even the lifestyle, it was way different. It was way too different. I'm just a girl from the rurals. I went to Solo Combined School. It was a very strict school, and it's a small town, so you don't really see. There's there's really hectic.
Yeah.
So I think God was saying, "Let me put you there because later on, 3 years from now, you might not sit, but I'm going to take you to the wilderness." I call it the wilderness because I'm
Yeah, no, we're
saying
gonna get there. I noted the wilderness part when you described Cuba by wilderness. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it quickly. Yeah, but I wanted to just see, Uti, when you look at the time you spent at WSU, in terms of your journey, uh, yeah, what are the lovely moments you remember, and what are the down moments that you remember during
I,
that three
I
years?
I have more downs than the ups in Unitra.
Yeah.
But I'm actually grateful for it. Um, Medicine is a very challenging career. So that it was a stepping stone to say, let me prepare you for something more harder. I think when I look back now, I'm saying I wasn't prepared for it and
Yeah.
got so this is what I wanted, but not prepared for it. I was not ready for the pressure. I was not ready for the amount of work that comes with studying MPCHP. So he
Yes.
said, "Yes, I'm going to challenge you with it, and I want you to run with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in this field, that means you have to excel in this one."
Mm.
So hard as it was, challenging as it was, but it was ngifuna ukuthi uqine ufunda ukuyiphatha in um
Before I post you far, far, far away, you know.
yes. If uhluleka ukuyiphatha la, how then are you going to be able to carry yourself out there
Mm.
where
So,
you
yeah. All right.
and
So you think coming out of a Roman Catholic school and getting to where it was basically free for all, you had to manage yourself. So the 3 years actually did help to build and consolidate, some of the values almost fundekai.
and here also, because in actual fact, I don't think we are prepared enough for varsity life when you come out of high school. We High school is just a walk in the park, basically. Everything you want, if you want to pass, I think work hard enough, you pass. You get to varsity, A and B is not equal, is not C after that. One plus one, there's so many dynamics. Uhamba khona, so many pressures. Nakhona you meet different people from different walks of life. And it's so easy to be tempted. Peer pressure is real. And it's so easy to be tempted because everything looks so rosy. Their classes, they are like everything. Konke kuqalisa kumnandi. And you'll think this is it. It's actually very easy to snap out of it.
Yeah,
Ugcine endleleni.
yeah,
So it did prepare me in that way. It did prepare me in the sense of I don't think umqondo wami had it to take that much knowledge. So it was we to be able to work under pressure. It was we had so many strikes. So we
yeah,
prepare you to be able to work under pressure. We're preparing you to be able to process lots and lots of information.
yeah,
Ngesikhathi.
yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's move faster. Um, did you try again with the WSU for e-medicine, or you just now, your dream was about doing this stuff overseas, so you didn't even attempt to apply LAPA at WSU, you know? So I'm just trying to see, because now you were doing your final year of the BSc and you now wanted to do your medicine. The dream is to do was to do it overseas. If you were given the opportunity to do it at WSU, would you have taken it and forfeited the Cuba route?
I honestly would have. But the overseas part came about when I was in my third year.
Yeah,
Because after finishing my first year in BSc, I did apply for medicine again. I applied in WSU,
yeah,
got rejected.
yeah.
And then
It's not called rejection, actually, it's called redirection. Hmm?
okay, and
It appears a rejection to you, but God is redirecting you. Yeah, okay.
then directed.
Yeah,
My second year, my mom was like, what, just finish it. You're almost done.
yeah.
But I kept on applying. And then I remember there was a strike when I was in my third year. I did apply again.
Mm,
Uh, and there was a huge strike. We couldn't get our June results, and that's what they needed.
mm,
And I remember my friends we were so frustrated because the other universities were calling, we want to make a decision. We need your results.
mm,
And you know there's a strike. We haven't even written exams. And
mm,
now you say, Father God, I'm getting redirected again.
mm.
You know,
Yes.
that's when I God, I've had it. I've
Yeah.
I've had it in South Africa, I've had it with its universities. I deserve better, you know?
Mm,
And I said it as a joke, but the power of spoken words was
mm.
actually manifested itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did it was on August. I have a screenshot on my phone. I did it.
Yeah.
It was in It was in August 2011 at that
Yeah.
time, and I was in my third year.
Mm. Okay.
And
Lovely.
I know that God
Has
was
a
just
better plan for you.
was ready to dish it up for me.
Okay. And so, how did the opportunity to be part of the Cuba South Africa training program, medical training program, how did it come to be for you?
I actually heard on radio. It was I used to wake up every morning and listen to Ulinda Sibia, the motivation. There was a motivation that they used to host on Cause FM.
Yeah.
So I would wake up and listen to that. So I listened to the motivation as usual, and then after that came an ad by the MEC.
Yeah.
They were looking for students to go study medicine abroad. And the very same day that I had the advert, it was actually the closing date.
You.
So um, it was in January 2012. And at that time, I was ready to go to UP to study. They didn't accept me in medicine as well. So I was ready to go to do dent
Yeah.
dentistry. So I had, and then I remember I passed it by my mom. I'm like, how yazi ngizile kuthiwa scholarship to go study medicine in Cuba. Hey, umzali nje wathi, no, 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 no. I remember there was a scandal. There was news trending of students who actually passed away. They were studying abroad and then they passed away in a
Yeah.
car accident. So my
Yes.
mom
Yes.
was like, hey, we just read about that. Mm-mm. Akwenzeki lokho. Just go to UP Onezwa and go study. I was like, okay, fine. I remember she was preparing to go to work. She left. Ngahamba. I went to go call. I went to Scottsburg Town because that's where my mom stays and works. I went there, looked for a public phone. I called the department and I wanted more details on it. It was around about 12 o'clock that time. And then they told me, you are much closer to Durban, so go apply there. I remember thinking to myself, ngizolahleka eThekwini, angikwazi kahle. So rather let me go to Potchefstroom, better. I went on to freeway, ngahika, I went to Potchefstroom. Figure, I remember I got lost. I still laugh about it because I got lost in town looking for the department's office, but finally I actually found it. I remember I got there, it was on a Friday, and it was just 10 past 4 when I got there. I told the security, I'm here to apply for the scholarship. And he was like, Sisu, oh, past 4, man. Definitely you won't find anyone in the offices. Where's it's Friday? I was like, please, Jim, I just want to try. He allowed me to go into the building. And fortunately, by God's grace, Usis Nomusa was actually responsible for the program in Oku district at that time, was still in the offices. She was just finishing up. So I came in. The application at that time said you should bring your parents, you should bring their pay slip, you should bring a whole lot of things. And I didn't have any of that.
Mm.
Then she was
Unefaith kuphela nje wena.
like, I've my documents and it's just me.
Hey, no, I'm saying you also had faith.
Yeah, I was
You
like,
were walking by faith.
it was honestly steps that were ordered by God.
Yeah.
Like, sis, even if I wanted to help you, you do not even meet the requirements. Where's your mom? Where's like the application clearly states you should bring somebody who's going to be able to pay for you. Because it was when Dr. Lomo and others were actually wanted to expand the program. Um, so I'm like, I get she asked me, does even your mom know that you're here? I'm like, she does. She's like, you don't look convincing. I'm like, oh, she's
That
not.
was the white line. Eh?
Yeah. Then I ended up first thing I'm like, no, she doesn't. But I honestly need this.
Mm.
I took my documents, she wrote my name down. I was so happy. And I actually went to a series of interviews. At that time I passed them. Come March, we had to pay because it was the extended program where they were saying students who are able to pay for themselves. And I couldn't. I didn't even have the deposit. I didn't even have each result.
Mm.
I kept on going to those meetings because I was like, something is going to come up, I know.
Mm.
And they did then release other forms saying, because they usually take 10 students each province since the program started way back in 1997. So, oh gosh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I then reapplied. This was run about May now. And I went to interviews again. And yeah, August, they called me to tell me I've been selected to go to Cuba. I was actually the only person who was selected in my district at that time.
Mm.
And I met 9 other students from different districts in KZN. So to make 10 students in KZN. And then, yeah,
Yeah.
we left.
So you're the pride of the Ugu district.
Yimlo.
Okay. All right. So you then got the news that you've been selected. How was it?
Oh my gosh,
How was how did you feel?
I was so happy.
Mm.
I was very happy. They actually called me in the morning. They were like, tomorrow 7 a.m. We're coming to fetch you. You're going to Cuba. I'm like, how? Kanjalo nje, you know, because I wasn't, they didn't even tell me a week prior or anything. But I woke up, I was like, Nyahamba, I didn't
Una
care.
passport.
Yes, I had applied the passport because I applied for the scholarship in Feb initially.
Okay.
Though now it took its toll. I remember I went to Home Affairs first time I applied, and they even asked me, "Do you even have an ID?" I'm like, "I have it." They were like, "You don't appear in our system. How come?" You know. So it was just a detour as well. But
Mm.
yeah,
All right.
what good?
So 7 a.m. they were there to pick you up. What was mom's reaction?
Everyone was
24
so
hour
happy.
notice before you leave.
Sorry.
24-hour notice that she got that her firstborn daughter is leaving to a faraway place. How did she feel?
I mean, everyone was so happy because I had waited for it for months, and they knew it's what I really wanted. It was actually clear that I want medicine, nothing else.
Yeah.
And I am, this is just what I
Why?
want.
Why medicine? No, I'm just trying to say, some people are motivated by the materials that you guys see with the older doctors. Was it about the materials, the GLEs, or was there something deeper that actually, was attracting you to medicine?
So I think skill is just the cherry on top. We
Okay.
want them and we're coming for them,
Yeah.
but it's not the primary goal of it. There's so much. I think, Kimina, personally, one of the things we would say, when in the era of Abazalbet, it was be a nurse or be a teacher.
Mm.
Then you guys were the chosen ones. Um, for them, it
Okay.
was that inside it.
Yeah.
And it came, and then came the era, yeah, too. And you just see that one doctor in the community, and you ask yourself, how? Oh, wow.
Dr. Mbele Mzimkulu.
And you're like, wow, yena yedwa.
Mm.
Okay. Then you get interested,
No,
and then
Dr. Mlisana, ne? Zimbele and
it's
Mlisana,
like,
the two doctors in Zimkulu. Yeah.
mm, they're cool. Because they're the only doctors barely. So you just want to be like them. You're like, okay, wow, there's something special about that. I want to know more. Then you start um, researching more about it, and then the dream just lives on and on.
Yeah.
And also, even my teachers played part in it. My maths teacher would always say, "You have it in you, and you're gonna be something big.
Yeah.
So don't look down on yourself. I'm not sure what's happening."
The camera is off. Yeah,
Gosh.
you're good. You're good. All right, let's move quickly because I don't want us to waste a lot of time here. I want us to get to the Cuba part. So, how long did it take you guys to actually fly out of South Africa?
It's 2 days because we spend a couple of time in Paris. We fly from Joburg to Paris and then Paris to Cuba.
Yeah,
So in Paris at that time you used to wait, I think, half a day, over
yeah,
12 hours waiting for the
yeah,
next flight. So in total it would take you 2 days max.
yeah. All right. So, from the 7 o'clock when you were picked up in the morning, it took you what, hardly 3 days for you to set your foot in Cuba.
No, at that time they fetched me at home was 7. We went to Durban. We had a 3-day orientation.
Okay.
They're busy orientating us about Cuba. They will bring students that are already seniors from that side.
Yeah.
And then after then, you fly on the 3rd day. You then
Yeah.
fly up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you were still convinced, I want this thing. I want this thing. I'm going. And so you were there. Oh no, I don't know what happened now. We were still going nicely, tracing the story of Dr. Onezwa about her dream to actually become a medical doctor after many doors were closed, on her face, to get into medicine straight. After doing her first year, in medicine, when she was doing second year and even third year, and all this way, she was not getting accepted in all of these places, yet she was determined that she wants to do medicine. And eventually her break came via the Nelson Mandela Fidel Castro program, which is an intergovernmental type of a relationship where Cuba trains doctors for South Africa, and then they come back and work here, and Cuba earns some dollars in the process. All right. So, Doc, just unmute yourself.
Sorry about that.
Yes. No,
I'm
no,
so
don't worry. Don't worry. So, I just want us to get you landed in Cuba. All right. Now you're coming from South Africa. You've gone via France. You get to Cuba. Now, Cuba has been in a blockade for more than 50 years because Cuba and America, there have been issues there. So you get to a country. What did you see? What was your first impressions of Cuba?
Oh gosh, to be honest, I was like, yo, okay. Is this because I think we watch too much movies when you think of overseas?
Yeah.
You all do it. So I was like, yo, okay, wow.
What did you see? I want you to describe what you saw.
Number one, it was super hot. It looked like there's no air at all.
Yeah.
And then it's so different. When you get to the airport, Cubans are just a whole lot of different people, especially for us, Black people. You get to the airport, I'm a flight attendant, shorts, 3 centimeters. And it's all women. Angizwa?
It's the best.
Agqokwa-ke. So bagqoka 3 centimeter, nje, yabo. And you're thinking, this woman was probably my mom's age. But anyways, asikho lapho. Then they took us, I remember they took us, more figure, they will take you to a place where you're going to get quarantined for certain days, where you get screened to check if you don't have anything, and then you get immunized as well. So masifika lapho, I remember we got there around about 3 a.m. in the morning. So they welcomed us. There was just a professor who didn't really, okay, most Cubans don't know English as well. So it's just, but then there are those few ones who actually try. So we got there. This professor welcomes us and then tells us the staff has prepared a mini snack for us. Because, from the airport, we then traveled, I think, 5 hours to the province that I was in, which is Santa, it was Sagola Grande at that time.
Yeah.
So we're excited, Pelanati, okay, it's snack. Because, we're hungry, we're tired. Masfiga. Oh. We were traumatized, I don't want to lie. The food was just different. We had, I think, it's a panis in Jelingaga, so they call that pan.
Yeah.
Just one. Then they gave us a jam, and cheese, and then there was milk or juice, I don't remember. And then njengoba kushisa nje vele.
Yeah.
The environment ayithanda ngoba yinhle, such that most of us didn't even eat.
Mm.
We went back to sleep. Kunjalo. When we woke up in the morning, that's when you actually get to see the place kahle.
Mm.
Usemakhaya, like amakhaya, lawa
Eh,
ngempela.
ihathi ngingcono.
It was a bit better. Futhi their town pillar is not well developed as our own towns.
Mm.
It was just a very small town. Kusemakhaya, come to transport, sihamba ngamahashe.
How?
Yeah, like it was just like in the movies, the vintage movies like that.
Yeah.
It was that, but it was nothing to what I had dreamed about.
Mm.
Or when I thought, yeah, Peshe, I mean, it was nothing like that.
Mm.
But one thing that will stand out about Cuban people, they're very welcoming. They're very nice people. Kuba ngathi unomama khona la.
Yeah.
When I left, I already had a family that I knew if I need one and two, I have a mom and dad. I have ukoko. I have everyone. I have just a full support. Even when we're writing exams, if you pull my exam hall, you have a mom that's waiting for you. And that's not even your biological mom, but it's somebody that you found. So they're very welcoming, unlike us, South Africans.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. All right. Beautiful. So, but you guys needed to study Spanish first. Tell us about that. This thing about you having to study Spanish.
yeah, like I've said, no, most Cubans don't know English. So we had to study Spanish, and the curriculum fairly is in Spanish.
Yeah.
So we get there, we do prep. So we stayed in a place that's called Sagola Grande.
Yeah.
And that university, that's where we learned for the first
Yeah.
close to 6 months, you purely learning Spanish. So they're teaching you as if you're still in primary school, then they take you up. You go from how to pronounce certain vowels, um, pronouncing certain words, like knowing what is amanzi, what is bread, how to say I'm hungry, and all of that. And then the second half of the year, that's when they take you to prep. So it's medical prep. Now you start learning your biology in Spanish, just the basics of medicine before you start your first year.
Yeah.
But one thing about Spanish is actually very easy to grasp. As much as sometimes it's hard to articulate and actually respond, but you understand everything that the person is saying. And they
Can
were
you
very
say something in Spanish now?
like what?
I don't know. Something.
Oh, Dios mío, no sé qué voy a decir, pero bueno, yeah.
What was that?
I just said I don't know what I'm gonna say.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so you guys did your 6 months of Spanish and 6 months of medical preparation. You started the program proper, basically year two of you being there, right?
Yeah. So the year starts in September and ends round about in June the following year.
Yeah. So it's almost like the American one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's move quickly. Now you were learning medicine, doing anatomy, doing physiology, doing pharmacology, doing chemical pathology, doing all of those things in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
How easy was that?
Sorry?
How difficult or how easy was that?
It was a bit difficult initially. But I don't want to lie, Cubans are very supportive people. They're very nice people. So they just one of those. I think that's why they have so many doctors, because they believe so much in the ability of a person that there's no way you could have made or passed step one and two and three if you didn't really know anything. So they will push you. They will give us extra classes if it means to, because we need more special attention, of course.
Yeah.
And then if you don't understand, it's actually very easy to even go to that professor's house in Cuba. They like that. They'll tell you, I live in a street what. So if you need help, come to my house. It's fine. And you go there, eat with the professor, chill with them. They teach you what needs to be taught.
Yeah.
So I think that's how we actually got to manage to pass.
Okay. All right. So that's very good. At least I'm happy about the fact that you are not only telling us about the things that shocked you, but you're also telling us about the people, the culture, the environment. That is actually very supportive. Academics going an extra mile to make sure that you pass, you know. But the fact that their medicine is very much focused on proactive primary health care, you know, unlike here where we focused on reactive medicine and preventative healthcare, we talk more about it, but we don't do it as much. So, now that you were obviously aware of South Africa and now you're exposed to that, what went through your head?
I honestly feel like as South Africans, we still have a long way to go. And we, as Cuban trained people, we have so much responsibility to actually take what we have learned and integrate it to the South African medical system. I know of the likes of Dr. Gumede.
Yeah.
One of the people that actually took he worked in Polela Clinic in Pietermaritzburg. It's somewhere in Pietermaritzburg.
Yeah.
And he has actually tried to integrate the primary health care into our system.
Yeah.
As much as obviously we won't achieve that overnight, we still have a very long way to go. But like poco a poco, we'll say, like bit by bit, we're honestly gonna get there. And
what did you say?
Poco a poco, that's a bit by bit.
In Spanish. Okay, poco a poco. All right. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we need more people like that. And then there was one module that we did in our final year, which is family medicine, which actually focuses on primary health care.
Yeah.
As much as obviously it won't be as developed as Cuba. Cuba has more primary health care doctors that we do. And actually there, everyone is actually educated about it. You'll find there if you're at the clinic or in the hospital. They will actually tell you, I'm taking maybe Brufen, I'm taking morphine, I'm taking this. They know how to call them by name. They know this is the dosage that I'm taking. And obviously, for us to come and integrate that, it won't be as easy because we know our grandmothers are not as educated.
Yeah.
Like their grandmothers that side. But it's actually a work in progress, and seeing it manifest in certain places, you then have faith that 10 years to come, 5 years to come, we'll be somewhere. We won't be where we are today.
Yeah, because you see, we have the national health insurance that's coming up in South Africa. That's supposed to be rolled out from around 2026. And primary healthcare is going to be the center of the national health system. So now, with what you were exposed to in Cuba and the fact that the future health system is actually going to be rooted in primary health care, what do you think South Africa needs to do to actually be able to bridge the gap so that primary health care delivers quality preventative health care?
One thing that in Cuba they've actually taught us was the importance. I know if you're treating a patient, they would tell you the first step is educating a patient what they have, how to prevent it, how to manage it going forth, and how to prevent it from reoccurring. So I think we need to start there. We start about educating our people, tell them we need more programs to say this is what HIV is, because you still find I think we're one of the highest country HIV infection rates, TB. But still you find
people are living with HIV.
Exactly. And yet you still find people who do not know what it is, who are so, I don't want to say ignorant about it, like, because maybe they're not exposed that much with whatever circumstances they faced with. But then if you still find such, then you know we need to start by educating people. It means each one doctor, you do not just treat the patient and send them home, but tell them you have this, they should understand. Because you can find a person coming to the hospital or been consulting, they don't even know what they have, yet the diagnosis is there in the file and it's actually written. So it starts by educating them, tell them this is what you have. This is what are the risk factors. This is how you can manage it going forward.
So basically
And that's where we can start.
empowering patients to take responsibility of their health through information sharing and empowerment.
Exactly. That's where it starts. Because then if somebody knows the risk factors, knows how to actually prevent it, then chances are they then going to partake in the whole treatment process to say, let us prevent this from reoccurring. So
Yeah.
that's what primary health care is all about. Because
Yeah.
we don't want to keep on providing resources that then do not yield the results that we want because people
Yeah.
do not know, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay. All right. Now I'm just going to ask you a question. Somebody who saw that I was going to interview you, he said I should ask you this question. His name is Papama Mngandi, but he goes by the name Architectural Other. He says, I will certainly miss this one, but perhaps a question to pose regarding the Mandela Castro program. Is South Africa doing all it can to reap the benefits of the cooperation from the program, right? Based on an interaction with some current beneficiaries of the program, the culture change, the language barriers that they have to swim in the deep end mean that in the totality of the program, there are some gaps to plug. For some, depression sets in. What does she think should be done to strengthen candidate readiness? And what can private sector and civil society do to aid the state efforts? Is there no prospect, for instance, for health tourism nexus in terms of how these two nations bolster their already great relations? So really, this person is asking about the program itself. I mean, it took you 3 days to be orientated. So he's basically saying that is not enough. But maybe he's also saying your support, whilst you are that side, there could be more done so that some of the people don't go through mental health challenges from the adjustment and all of that. What do you want to say around?
um, honestly, I don't think, well, 3 days is not much, but then it does prepare you for where you're going and what you're roughly going to be faced with. But
Yeah,
obviously, being told about something and actually going through it, it's
yeah,
just two different things.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
for me, I don't want to lie. I would forever be grateful for Dr. Sbongiseni Dlomo, who was our
yes,
former MP.
yes,
Throughout our stay,
yes,
um, he's been there. He's been supporting us, visiting us, and being a very present father. And
yeah,
that does help to actually receive somebody from home to say, um, you've got this. I'm rooting for you. I understand all your frustrations.
yes,
But then again, no matter how much orientation you get, no matter how much counseling you get, you can never be prepared for unforeseen circumstances like death,
yeah,
with which is one of the things that will force people to go into depression.
yeah,
Um, you are 1,000 miles away from home, and then you receive a call that you've lost your parent or you've lost your dad, your mom, your family member, your child, to those who have kids already. There's nothing that can prepare you for that,
yeah,
unfortunately. So yes, they do try provide counseling. They do try provide, though there's always room for more, But in all honesty, I think they did try enough. It's just that in some situations in Kosiam, we cannot really prevent them from happening. And also, one advice that I actually like giving the people that are still left in Cuba, it's power of association. Choose good friends when you get to Cuba. Um, it's also not forgetting why you're there, because that's why people then fall into depression, because you get to Cuba, you see nightlife. Cuba is that country that says be whatever you want to be, but they very focused people, because uzothola umuntu ukuthi kuyagrova one day, but already their job is done. Umuntu seqedile umsebenzi, the assignments are done, they've started for tests. We need more time because it's not our mother language, obviously it's not our second language, it's not even our third. So you need more time to prepare. But then uthole ukuthi umuntu nabangani abama-Cuban, they're going out, they didn't even prepare enough. Come, you write exam, you fail. Who didn't think for you at that time? Wena ungakhonanga uyicabangela ngesikhathi sakho. So then you fail or you repeat a year, then umuntu useyaqala uyaphuza kakhulu, fall into, because you do not even have a strong support system. Where did it start? you couldn't choose good friends. Because when you're that side, that's all you have. You have the basics of imfundiso ifundiswe ekhaya to guide you, and then you have the choice to say, these are the type of friends that I'm going to choose. And from there, those are the people that are going to support you. They're going to be your parents. They're going to be your your everything, basically.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. We really should be
All right.
more focused on saying, who am I associating myself with? How are these people going to help me in the long run?
Yeah.
Because something
Okay.
happens.
But now this side, we had allegations that some of you guys, are now becoming evangelists around the corners. You are focusing more on converting people to Christianity, and the stuff that you went there for is secondary. Now I'm saying that to you because obviously you are a strong Christian. Were you one of those people who were standing in the corners and trying to convert Cubans to be Christians?
Unfortunately, no, I was not part of them. Um, I was far away in the provinces. We were just 80 students, and then the rest of the students, which is the big group, I think close to over 500 students, that then followed, were in Havana, in the main city.
Yeah.
That's where the chaos was. I think people were hungry for the sense of belonging. You know,
Yeah.
you are in a different country. In Cuba, Cubans are very free people. You're not forced to believe in God. Kuthi na when umuntu athi, I don't believe in Christ. Simbuka ngale ndlela ukuthi, really? You know, we don't want you to be born again as such, but you need to kind of believe in God.
Yeah.
In Cuba, they say believe in whoever you want to believe in. You'll get into shops or people's houses, they have a sign of an eye, ngasemnyangweni wabo, or anyway. That's who they believe in. That person is doing good things for them. So Kubana, it's fine. I think it then pushed some South Africans into the corner to say, let us then show them who we are. You
Yeah.
know, thina sikholwa kuNkulunkulu, and this is it. And Cubans are not used to it. They're not used to people mabithandaza about shoutele phezulu and make noise, or people go around speaking in tongues in the street. It was just a whole lot different spectrum to them.
Yeah.
So that's why it actually made headlines.
Yeah. Okay. So you finished your what? How many years did you stay there? 5 years?
No, 6.
6 years.
So it's of 2018, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what is the name of the university where you were in? It's got a very difficult name. That's why I'm not even attempting to
It's called Ciencias Medicas Santa Clara. It was in Santa Clara.
what can you say it again?
Ciencias Medicas.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you guys needed to come back to South Africa, spend another year or and about. What is that all about? Because you are done there.
Yeah. It's about actually integrating whatever that we've learned with the South African medical curriculum.
Yeah.
Basically, Cuba, there's there's no TB, there's no
There's no TV.
HIV.
Wait.
Sorry,
There's no TV in Cuba.
TB, like
Oh,
tuberculosis.
TB. Oh, TB. Oh, all right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I thought you were saying there's no TV. All right.
No, we don't have TB because yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it was that. Now we then come back to say, let us integrate whatever that you've learned in Spanish, come integrated to the South African curriculum.
Yeah.
You then be exposed to what people that you're going to be saving in the near future have.
Yeah. Okay.
So you do 18 months, which is basically the first 6 months, because you come back in Cuba, the
Yeah.
year ends in June that side, I mean. So you come back in Cuba, then you get integrated in any of the medical schools in South Africa.
Yeah.
Then you do your first 6 months, the year that you came in, and then you start your final year the
Yeah.
following year.
So you were linked with UKZN.
Yeah, I did my final year in UKZN. Sorry.
All right. So when you graduate then as MPCHB, um, who gives you? Is it UKZN or your university in Cuba? Who gives you the
We
actual qualification?
it's a Cuban um, delegation, because we have our own graduation separately. It's usually held every June, end of June or July each year.
Yeah.
And then we have professors from Cuba who also are part, and some of the South African one. Then what they do is they actually choose one university
Yeah.
in Africa where that graduation is going to be held. So
Yeah.
even if you study birds, even if you studied in your city, then all of us are then going to meet there and have our own graduation ceremony apart.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that's pretty much good. So you've gone through that, obviously. You know, you mentioned something here, and I want to ask you, was you put it on in there that look, there's this one course that just tripped me, you know, and I had to do it another 6 months again. What happened now? Did you get to be too nice in South Africa when you came back, and you didn't focus, and so you had to repeat this course for 6 months or something?
No, it was not that. Yes, you also know internal medicine is something else for
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah,
So I think it's that. I actually failed my practical
okay,
exam,
yeah,
so I had to redo that. Then you get your supplementary exams. So if you fail your supplementary exam, then you need to do the whole block again.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So then the whole corona pandemic as well
yeah.
added into the thingy to the detail to the delays.
No, 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 fine, that's fine. No, I'm fine with that. So, but basically, so what lessons did you learn? Remember, you've been whenever there's been something that tripped you or sort of rejection, which I call redirection, you look at it from the bigger scheme of God, this and that. So in this case, how did you you know interpret what you went through just at the final hurdle?
Um, honestly, um, I did get tired. I was very tired. My friends will tell you I had had enough. My family will tell you being a suffering so because I felt like canting in better. What is it that God wants from me?
Yeah,
I've tried everything. What is it then that I should do more to actually get to the dream?
yeah,
And you then remember, I remember my aunt, Gimbizo Mama, she actually asked me, would say, you're saying you're being delayed and you're late. You are late in whose timing?
mm,
Kusele ngemuva ngoba kubani? Who is it that is actually in front of you okanye ongemuva kwakhe that you're actually competing with?
yeah,
I then had to remind myself that this is my own race.
yeah,
This is my own life. This is my own lane. This is God. I'm actually living for my purpose. Unkulunkulu, there's something that is growing inside of me that the next person, not even my dear friend, is actually get to testify about it.
yeah,
So I then had to remind myself that I'm in my own time. I'm in my own space. I'm competing because that's where the problem starts. The minute you start comparing yourself to other people, that's when you then say, yazi ngisele emuva kunabangani bami, I do not have a one, no two, no three, and four.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
we are set for different things, you know.
Yes, yes,
Maybe Nkulunkulu wants me to say, actually, with this post, Ibile, I actually received many DMs saying, I'm so grateful for your story because I was at the verge of giving up.
yeah,
I was Nkulunkulu doesn't love me. So I was like, then this is what God has called me. It
yeah,
is not a calling of the person next to me. It is not a calling of my mom or my friend, but
yeah,
is who Onezwa is. So
yeah.
I'm living for my purpose, and this is it.
Lovely, 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 lovely. So now, when you are already a doctor and you are now supposed to be placed so that you can start doing the stuff that you've been learning for all this time, COVID happens, right? COVID happens and HPCSA is closed. And so you can't get your final papers that register you into the South African healthcare system so that you can start working as a doctor.
Eish.
What are you going through now emotionally?
I'm actually at the point. I think that's part of what motivated me to write to myself to say I actually passed. I didn't even get to celebrate that and be proud of myself because I was worried about Nkosi yami, kumele manje ngiplay. You know, and we put ourselves under so much unnecessary pressure, such that we forget about our mental health
Yeah,
because we want to achieve one. We set goals to say you can achieve one, two, and three, and four. You actually get that one, two, and three, and four. You don't even pat yourself in the back to say, "Girl, you've done it." Now
yeah,
you're on the next one. Yeah,
yeah,
but so when it doesn't come to life, you then think, "Who's depressed? Into hlangani."
yeah,
But there's a saying that says, "Gratitude makes room for more."
yeah,
I was like, let me not worry. Why should I worry when I know Unkulunkulu has it all covered? God
yeah,
must be protecting me from something. I can
yeah,
rush to go through and Rotolo would say, I'm gonna just wait for 3 months until a
yeah,
COVID day. And then God knows what is it that He's protecting me from.
yeah,
So I was like, let me just sit back and upload myself. I've
yeah,
actually done, you know, this was a dream that this is something that I've longed for the longest years.
mm.
10 years is too
And you
long
are
to have.
there now.
And I'm actually there. And this whole stressful thing wanted to rob that joy from me to say, worrying, manje you should be worrying about one, two, and three, four, you know? And I was like, no, man, no. Mana kancane, Onezwa, this is it. This is what you've paid for years, and it's actually
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Stop,
yeah,
breathe, and celebrate it. You know, own it and say, ngisho ngingakuphi, but girl, I am a doctor. You know, I am. Finally, I'm there.
mm.
And then the next one, when I'm done, then I can, you know, what's next?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
step by
Lovely,
step.
lovely. And so the surgeon thing now, as we're about to wrap up, because the president is supposed to be speaking now, so we're missing a little bit, from the president, but they'll tell us what he said. Um, but just a little bit now, you obviously have set your sights now at being a surgeon, and not just a surgeon, reconstructive, plastic, surgeon. So that's another maybe 6, 7 years ahead. Eh?
Mm,
Right? So yeah, just tell
really.
us a little bit about that dream so that a few years from now, when I have a big media company, I'll call you back, and say, you know what, you remember that dream. How far are you? So I
Now
want to
it's
hold
here.
you accountable. I want to hold you accountable. You know, I'll say I was working from a small media thing. Now I've got an empire. You promised South Africans that you're gonna be a plastic surgeon. Tell us, where are you? So yeah, tell us.
Actually, at that time, you will have to be sending people to say "Ngicela nimbize," because that's how busy I'll be. I'll be one, and I'll actually be explaining it. So kumele ngibambe ngisafunda because once bese ngifly high. I'm actually joking, but no, it's gonna happen. I've learned the power of speaking
Yeah,
life over yourself.
yeah,
Claim it, say it, recite it until you believe it.
yeah. And you
It's
believe
it's
it now.
and and it's gonna happen. You know, don't say hi because at the end of the day, this is what I was saying to myself. Ukuthi, at the end of the day, I'm gonna turn 30.
Yeah,
Being it, I'd start my career when 21.
yeah,
Being it started when I'm 19. You'll reach that as long as you're still alive. You're still gonna get to 30. So
yeah,
don't say, "Mina ngimdala, I can't start 1, 2, and 3, and 4."
yeah.
Pray for impilo uNkulunkulu, give me strength, give me life, and I'm gonna get there.
Keep you
So
safe from COVID.
sorry,
God must keep you safe from COVID.
most definitely, and I'm protected. Yes.
All right. Yeah. So one last thing now, one last thing, Doc. I don't want to take too much of your time. The issue of South Africa getting 200 maybe plus doctors from Cuba to come and help us to deal with COVID. There was a lot of controversy. South Africans were very upset. They felt that the money that's going to be spent, which is plus minus 400 million for their 12 months here in South Africa, should have been spent to employ doctors that are South Africans who were unemployed and all of that. But you having been in Cuba, you being a product of their training as a medical doctor, um,
Mhm.
what were you going through? Because there were those who were saying the government is wasting money, and these guys can't even speak the language, and all of that. What impact are they going to make, and all of that? So, but you had the advantage of both sides. Where were your thoughts around that?
I thought actually that was a great move for me. I was
Yeah,
like, big ups, because in Cuba, as much as everybody is a doctor, you
yeah,
get the advantage to be attended by specialists.
yeah,
Somebody who's been at the game for the longest.
yeah,
You know, unlike Lana, good say na we can't. I'm a surgeon's witness now. We in a hospital you can't. Okay, we have one, two, three specialists, and those people they can't. Even I'm a consultant, they can't even attend to everybody in the ward because of the population and the number of patients that we see. And then you then get to bring somebody who's more experienced to say, just attend to these patients. Unlike getting an intern to attend to them. I'm not saying they're less qualified, but experience also plays a major role.
I mean, these
Um,
guys, some of them were in the front line fighting Ebola in West Africa about 4 years ago, something more
yeah,
deadly than COVID-19, you know?
yeah. So exactly. Then what is COVID to them? Not that I'm giving more power, but like
Yeah,
it was for me. Honestly, it was a great move. But I understood that so many people didn't get that because it was just Cuban doctors.
yeah,
um, we people do not even understand what the Cuban medicine entails. So
yeah,
for them, it's very difficult for them to understand. Then what difference are they going to make in South Africa?
yeah. I'll ask you another question. Because people don't know the training program that you guys go through in Cuba, I've heard in some quarters where people, sometimes question, your abilities as the guys who train that side. Have you experienced anything like that where people are questioning the credentials, Zain, as the
It,
people
it
who?
was always questioned, but now the sad part is they do not acknowledge when even you're doing well.
Yeah,
Um, but then, to be honest, you then get to be integrated in the system here, and then you then realize, oh, man, which is the same.
yeah,
Uh, the only thing that's different in Cuba, they have a phlebotomist that are just moving around, um,
yeah,
like staff some nurses. So for us, we don't get to do much of the practical work, like taking bloods, injecting, and whatnot. That
yeah,
doctors they are forced to do.
yeah,
There you have people that are just ready standing for you. The minute you attend a patient, you know that somebody who's going to take bloods next to you,
yeah,
and you don't have to do it for yourself. So yes, we do lack in that sense because our clinical skills are not as developed as those who are trained in South Africa.
yeah. Okay.
And but besides that, almost everything is the same. Medicine is the same everywhere. It's just that
Yeah,
the language barriers, and then obviously then there are certain diseases that are just endemic in that area. We do
yeah,
not have TB, so we had to focus
yeah.
more on that.
Dengue fever and stuff like that. That side.
Yes, we don't have more of HIV. We had to focus on that when
Yeah,
coming back home. So those are just some of the parts where you lack.
yeah. All right. So, Doc, um, young people who have a dream, who have listened to your story, where you have made sure that nothing stops your dream, what do you want to say to them? People are dreaming, but they're not sure if their dreams will ever come true. This is
Sure. I
Women's Month, so I'm talking to girl children. I'm talking about girl children and other, young women who look up to you.
I'll just tell them to never stop dreaming. Dream and believe in yourself.
Mm.
That's what it takes. Because if you're convinced you yourself that you're capable of doing it, then nothing else um, will delay you from that. It starts from here. Do
Yeah,
you really believe? Do you really believe in yourself? Do you believe that you have all that it takes?
yeah,
Because obviously they're going to be opposing forces. It's
yeah,
not going to be a smooth sailing journey. That one
yeah,
won't happen. But
yeah,
then if you are determined and you're so sure that this is what I want, I mean, even the universe will conspire for you to actually get that.
yeah,
So have a sense of believe in yourself,
yeah.
be sure, be determined, and tell yourself no matter what it takes.
And choose good friends. Mm.
That one, That one is very important. I don't want to lie.
Yeah.
That one is
Yes.
very, very important.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So has mommy been listening?
I'm hoping she is.
All right. But anyway, man, thank you to her, for bringing you up, being a determined, focused, hardworking, patient, and God-fearing woman. Yeah. So I've been a doctor for now over 30 years. So
Yes,
it's
yeah.
good to just see people, young people coming through, to take the baton and move forward with bigger dreams because there's no limits for you guys now. So chase that dream. It's going to happen. You will be a plastic surgeon. When I've got some wrinkles and I need maybe some, what do you call it now? Some tummy tuck, I might just come to you, you know. Eh?
It's in Zoglungi, ungasabi.
Yes, no, no, food I'll pay. So I won't want you to do it free of charge. I will pay, you know. So you just continue chasing your dream. Your story is very interesting. There's a lot of lessons for anyone in terms of focus, chase your dream. It will happen at the appointed time, not at your time, at the appointed time. It will happen. Don't give up. A bit of faith and a bit of patience, and
Yeah.
perseverance, you will actually get there. So thank you, thank you, thank you for giving us your time. I will send you the clip so that you can share it with those who were not able to watch or those who had to leave because the president is talking. But keep going. You will get there. The GLEs, GLEs, I know it's a very beautiful car, and the big, big, big houses. Oh, yeah, they will come at the right time. If you're still going to be a registrar, you're not going to have money to buy those big cars, you know
Yeah.
your dream is bigger. You'll be rewarded once you get, your fellowship as a reconstructive surgeon. But
Yeah.
take just
There.
don't put yourself in too much debt, because now you want that GLE coupe, you know. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, but it's a beautiful car though. So
So,
good choice. So thank you, Doc, man. What do you want to say to the people who've been watching your story?
oh man, thank you guys. Thank you for the kind words. Honestly, when I wrote it, it was just a letter to myself, and to actually know that with just your testimony, you're gonna touch people. People are gonna be able to say, "Let me go on. This is not the end of it." Thank you for your messages. I appreciate them. Yeah, let's go for this. Zosvini said we should take up space, and the room is big enough for all of us. So I'm actually here rooting for you and saying it's possible. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Doc. Like I was saying before we went in, that as I was trying to create that poster, there was a picture of you in theater, and then there was another picture of you being a slay queen, and I was like not sure which of the pictures that must be used, and I gave the graphic designer. I said, okay, you are a lady, decide which picture to choose, whether you want to show her in scrubs or as a slay queen. You know, uh, Actually, you've just showed me that we mustn't just look at the outside.
Yeah.
There's more. Let's not look at the packaging. Let's look at the content. So thank you very much, Doc. Continue to chase your dream and be safe and make sure that you put the interests of the country first. And continue making a difference. All right. Thank you to everybody who joined us. I know it was a bit long, and some of you are listening here and also listening to the president. I'm sorry about that, but we didn't know that there will be a presidential address at 8 o'clock. So, but thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody who joined us. We appreciate it.